If you enjoy my content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Otherwise, I'll have to be forced to play Death Ball for the rest of my life. For the love of God, do not allow me to play Death Ball for the rest of my life. So, this script was completely different before the Jet Set Radio 3 announcement because no one was expecting it to really happen. Now that it is real though, there's a lot of hype and speculation about what type of game this is going to be. So, this is the perfect time to talk about what would be my ideal Jet Set Radio 3 dreams of what I've loved to see in this game. So let's start brainstorming. So, what style of gameplay would be the best for this new Jet Set Radio game? I think the clear answer is the open world platformer style of Jet Set Radio Future and Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. The thing I feel makes this style best suited for a new Jet Set Radio game is the freedom that these games give you. The big focus with this style is putting you in this big open playground to do whatever you like, in any pace you want, and explore anywhere you want. No repercussions and no time limit to pressure you. It makes things more accessible to all players, and they can get better adjusted to the controls and physics. Speaking of controls, this is the most essential thing that will make or break a Jet Set Radio game, or any extreme sport game for that matter. If they stink, the rest of the game falls apart. Some people do like the arcaded controls of the OG Jet Set Radio, but the reality of it is that it's much harder to go back to that game due to the stiff controls. Future also had its fair share of control issues, but it is significantly easier to jump back into that game and enjoy yourself. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk managed to achieve the control feel and physics, which I think is the best out of the three. However, it's missing the speed and momentum to make the gameplay feel more rewarding and stimulating, which was something that the Movement Plus mod was able to provide for players wanting a faster game. Now, this new Jet Set Radio game doesn't need to be at blistering speeds. However, something close to the game speed of Future with the controls and physics of Bomb Rush Cyberpunk would be a great balance. Movement Plus mod also has a bunch of customization options for you to tweak the speed and mechanics to your liking, so you can play the game with your desired speed and physics. I think an option like this for a new Jet Set Radio game would be great, so everyone can have their preferred taste of controls. Sonic Frontiers was actually able to provide this, and it was such a great addition. Everyone could tweak to how they wanted to control Sonic, and I think it would be appreciated by those who maybe want to play the game in the OG style or the Future style. Everyone wins. In terms of level design, there are two ways they can go about this. I really like what they did with the OG Jet Set Radio did with its worlds in Chapter 3. The individual levels from previous chapters were just parts of the level. By Chapter 3, parts of each area were combined together to be one major level that makes everything feel connected. Jet Set Radio Future took the main regions of the OG game, grabbed all the specific locations from each region, and turned them all into full-scale levels. Now, from the brief look at Jet Set Radio 3 we saw, we were in an updated version of Shibuya from the OG game. So maybe we might see revamped versions of the OG game's levels. However, there is a chance we can get completely new locations or expanded versions of these old levels. While I liked a lot of the areas in Future, some of them really just felt like filler, like the Sky Dinosaurian Square and Highway Zero. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk had a solid 7 areas that all felt focused and were all central parts of the story, while having a lot of great set pieces. I think a solid 7 to 8 levels would be nice for the game without it making it feel very bloated. How do I like the level progression to work for this game? There's the OG game's way of progression by having it be an arcaded game with a focus on getting the highest score possible and getting the highest rank. Then there's also how Future and Bomb Rush Cyberpunk does it, and have the story progression be tied by covering the area with a certain number of graffiti. I don't think we have to choose though. We could have both styles. How? Well, let me tell you. The main structure to progress the story can be the way Future does it by covering a number of graffiti you're given in the level. with the occasional boss fights to stop your progression. If you want to implement the OG style, you can make it be like the extra missions. It'll essentially be the same as the test runs in future, jet graffiti, jet tech, jet dash. Keep these things as a way to unlock the rival characters. You get the best of both styles. The only one that might need some consideration is jet graffiti, because it depends on what graffiti style you use. You want to use the minigame from the OG game and have a bigger focus on point combos, or go with the future way of doing quick graffiti and have it be strictly timed based. If you want me to be honest, it doesn't matter what graffiti style they use, because both work just great. However, I know it means a lot to some people, so let's just say they'll do the OG minigame style for the graffiti. What mechanics should be implemented in this game? From the brief look at the trailer, we did see that you can mount up ledges like in Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, and you could do tricks while grinding like in Future. That's the most we're going to see for now, so what else should we have in this game? Bring back the boost dash. You can either make it like Future where it uses up cans for resources, or make it a completely different resource with its own meter like in Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Please make back turning one button like in Future. The hand plant should make a return. I'd also like to see a wall plant be added so we could hop from wall to wall. It'd add a lot to the game's movement. Being able to do multiple tricks in the air, bring that back. We should have a manual slide, make it a dedicated button like in BRC. Future's quick turn was a great addition to stop on the dime, bring that back. I think BRC handles wall riding the most smoothly, and I would like for it to be closer to that. If not, at least improve upon the way it's handled in Future. An autosave is a must, but definitely also keep manual save slots so we can save during specific times. A quick save would be helpful as well. Please let us have a free controllable camera. This is something that improved the original Jet Set Radio's re-release, and it's also great in BRC. I actually thought the street challenges in Future were very fun. Finding the mystery tapes to unlock the challenges, then completing them to unlock and collect more graffiti souls. I would love for this to make a return. Maybe not restricted to just graffiti souls though. Maybe we can unlock costumes too. I think adding a collectible like extra colors for characters would be a nicer reward. I would love for the garage to make its return as a hub world hideout where we can control our character and talk to everyone. Having a dedicated spot in the garage where we can change the music, graffiti, access test runs, and have tutorials. I doubt this is ever going to happen, but it would be nice if it did. The phone is one of the best features in Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. With it, you can change the music and take pictures. Then, when you find the map chip, it tells you where the rest of the graffitis are throughout the map. It made it easier to navigate where the graffiti spots are without breaking the pacing of the game by having to pause all the time to see where the missing graffiti spots are. They can do it. The GGs have been having communicator watches for years. They could upgrade it to do more, so I hope that mechanic actually gets brought into this new game. Think it might be a safe guess that JSR 3 might have a multiplayer mode. I'd honestly be surprised if it didn't. Future's multiplayer mode, while underused, was very nice to have, and they can bring back these modes. The races were the best handled of the bunch. With everyone being at the same speed, the items at least help with catching up and slowing down your opponent. It just needs more courses. Despite how I feel about Deathball, with online multiplayer, I think it could actually be really fun. It also just needs more courses to work with. Flag battles could definitely stay, and I love how they had arena-like levels suited for something like this. If Graffiti Wars is going to make a return, I think it should be reserved for 3 to 4 players only. 1 versus 1 Graffiti Wars sucked because it would just be a case of skating behind your opponent and covering their graffiti after they covered yours. Tiger's Tag is not a fun multiplayer mode at all, and I think it should only stay strictly story based. If there is a need for a new multiplayer mode, you can have a score attack battle like the ones in BRC, and if you need at least one co-op mode, a horde battle against a wave of Rokaku police would actually be kinda fun. Just make sure there's no game breaking bugs. The last thing I want to talk about is how I would like the story and characters to be implemented. DJK doesn't need his role change at all. He is the heart and soul of Jet Set Radio, so he doesn't need to change. I do hope that he stays our gameplay navigator like he is in future though. The one thing I ask from Jet Set Radio 3 is that this game can allow the characters to show off more of their individual personalities. Our playable cast of Rudies in the original Jet Set Radio were nothing but blank slates, which is what Future fixed and allowed us to talk to the characters for them to show off their personalities, although they're easily missable and could be skipped. The one strength I always feel BRC has is that it had the characters be more engaged and involved within the plot itself. We get to see the Bomb Rush crew talk to one another and move the plot forward themselves, giving them the opportunity to show off what type of character they are. The GGs and the rival characters just need a personality and a more involved plot to make them feel more engaging and help the audience be more invested in these characters. It doesn't need to be an RPG length story or something deep. BRC didn't do that. I just would love for the GGs to actually feel more important to the plot. Characters like DJK, Goji, and Hayashi are popular because they get a chance to show off their eccentric personalities. Just allow every character to do that. Also, voice acting, please. It's kinda crazy that to this day we still don't know who did the voice work for the GGs and the rivals. In the time we're in now, I hope that finally changes. Allowing those characters to speak more would be great. We're definitely going to get new characters, but I would love for all the characters to return, including the ones introduced in future. I think it's a guarantee that the original 10 GGs and the original 3 rival gangs will make their return with brand new designs. I pray characters like Jazz, Clutch, Roboy, the Doom Riders, and the Immortals also make their return. I don't want Jet Set Radio Future's legacy to be ignored and erased again, so please bring those characters back. And those are all my hopes and wishes for Jet Set Radio 3. Everything I've said here probably ain't going to actually be put in the game, and I may just be talking nonsense. However, if one of the things I mentioned in this video does happen to come up in Jet Set Radio 3, just know I called it. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I hope you all continue to have a good day. If you enjoy my content, make sure you leave a like, you comment what you thought about it, and subscribe to the channel. And when you subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit the bell notification icon so you can know when my next upload is. Also, don't forget to follow me on my X account. That's where I'm the most active on, so if you want to see how I'm doing, you can follow that there in the link in the description.